Many JRPGs, and especially those from Squaresoft, feature incredibly hard and secret optional bosses that you don't necessarily see during a playthrough. Think about the weapon enemies in the Final Fantasy series. Now, Lufia 2 is not from Squaresoft, but it is no exception in that regard, and in this video I will show you how to find the hardest boss of the game and also how to defeat him. Hey everyone, my name is Tobi and I'm your sidekick for retro video gaming. Check out and subscribe to my channel if you want to see helpful content on game mechanics, boss strategies, item collections or complete walkthroughs. So the next time you play your favorite games or try out new ones, you can fully enjoy and complete them. Although Lufia 2 has a pretty straightforward story and plot progression, there are a couple of optional things to accomplish. One of them is a fight against the hardest boss of the game, the Egg Dragon. Unfortunately, getting into a fight with this enemy might even be the hardest part. You can find him in the Dragon Shrine next to Prequel village once you have the submarine, and he tells you to find 8 dragon eggs scattered throughout the world. After collecting the 8 eggs and handing them to the dragon, you can make your first wish, choosing from 4 different options. Initially you would think, well, of course I want all of them, why do I have to choose? But don't worry, you will have a chance to get all 4 wishes fulfilled, although you might not like the way to do this. See, after you choose your first wish, the 8 eggs are distributed around the world and you can collect them again. But they are not in the same location as before, and instead you can find them randomly in any chest that you opened so far. So you know what that means, right? You have to backtrack every dungeon up until now and check every chest that you came across. That might sound ridiculous to do, but thankfully there is an item that helps you out. Go into the casino and buy the item sonar for 20,000 coins. You can use the sonar in a dungeon, and after an initial signal sound, it will respond with a single noise for every unopened chest in this dungeon. So with this you can now enter each dungeon you visited so far and use the sonar at the beginning, and if you opened every chest in this dungeon beforehand, you will only get a response from the sonar if a dragon egg appeared in one of them. Granted, it only works that way if you found every chest beforehand, but you can also use this now to find every item that you missed, although it might not be useful anymore. No need to say, it is still a lot of work to find the chest containing the egg inside a dungeon, and you might get unlucky in certain situations where you have to go through the whole dungeon again to find that one chest at the end with the egg. If you want to do this, it is a good idea to start immediately when you can after the Sacred Temple, because every additional dungeon that you go in and open chest is an additional dungeon that you have to check. The later dungeons are also longer with harder puzzles, so you might want to limit the number of potential dungeons as much as you can. And by the way, the eggs can also appear in chests that you opened outside of dungeons, so make sure to check the chest in Pandoria, inside the castle, and in the underwater cave where you find the water capsule monster. In addition, if you already completed the ancient cave, also check the reward chest. After collecting the eggs again, you can get another wish granted, and you might already know where this is going. And you're right, in order to fight the dragon you have to get all 4 wishes granted and collect the eggs a total of 4 times. There's no way around this, and it takes a couple of hours warping from dungeon to dungeon, going through it if it has an egg and finding it. But if you think this is super obnoxious, just think about how it would feel like if the game also had random encounters in dungeons like many other JRPGs, and you might not feel that bad about it anymore. So use your arrows to get around as many battles as you can. Anyway, if you went through all of it, the dragon will say that he has nothing left to offer, and instead you can finally challenge him to fight you. And boy, let me tell you, this guy does not mess around. He is by far the toughest enemy the game has to offer, with over 60,000 hit points and attacks that can deal a lot of damage to either a single party member or the whole party. If you collect all dragon eggs 4 times in a row immediately after the Sacred Temple where you find the last egg, you will probably be under level 50, and I'm not sure if there's a legitimate way to beat him at that time. It might be possible, but honestly, if you want to beat him at that stage, I will show you a trick you can do later on in this video. I legitimately killed him after the Dragon Mountain because there are a couple of items you get there which make your life much easier, and although I made some big mistakes in my first try, I successfully defeated him with a party just below level 60. Now, I'm not saying that this is the earliest stage at which you can beat him. Like I said, the strategy I used was not 100% optimized and I made some big mess ups in my try, but just to give you a rough idea at which point it's definitely possible. As for preparations, I would highly recommend to buy the Valor spell for Maxim, Sealant and Artia in Portravia, as this will be your major source of healing and you will probably need to spam it a lot. Of course, you also want to buff yourself, so make sure to bring at least a Courage and Twig spell to increase your defense and attack. Guy and Maxim will be your damage dealers and Sealant and Artia your healers, although there are some overlaps. For weapons, I gave Guy Gates Blade for the Octo Strike and Maxim got the Lizard Blow, which is incredibly powerful against dragons, but you will have to solve the hardest puzzle in the game deep under the Dragon Mountain. If you have trouble solving this puzzle, tell me in the comments below and I can do a video about it. You will get other powerful items as well, so it is totally worth it. Another very useful source of damage is the Gorgon Rock that you get by fighting Gorgons in the Dragon Mountain. The Rock's IP ability deals 1/8 of the enemy's current hit points as damage, and since the Egg Dragon has tons of hit points, you can deal a lot of easy damage by using this ability whenever you can. Also, you can give the rock to Sealant or Artia and maximize your damage output. The other items should focus on maximizing your defense as much as you can. Make sure to have items to restore your magic points, since you will have to constantly overheal yourself with the Valor spell, and a couple of miracles are also useful because characters will die in this battle. Now the tactic is pretty straightforward. First, buff yourself in the beginning to increase your survivability. At least one character should always cast a Valor spell on the whole party during each turn. Regardless of how much you buff yourself up, if the dragon makes scrambled eggs, the targeted character will most likely die. If that happens, have one character cast Valor on the dead one while another casts Valor on the rest of the party. Although Valor also revives characters, it only has a 25% chance to revive a dead character if you cast it on all party members. That's why it is a good idea to also give Maxim the Valor spell and have him support you if one of the healers die. Otherwise, Maxim can deal damage to the boss, especially with the IP ability of the Lizard Blow. Make sure to sneak in a couple of Twig spells on Maxim and Guy to increase your damage. If the Egg Dragon confuses one or two party members, things can get tricky. Sealant or Artia can then try to attack these characters to break the confusion, but take care to ensure enough healing through other means during those rounds. If a character dies and also has low mana points, use a miracle to revive him and simultaneously restore his mana pool. Because of the massive health pool of the boss, it will take quite a while to beat him, and although this tactic worked for me the first time, things can still go wrong if you have bad luck with the scrambled eggs or in confusion. Losing in this battle is not lethal however, but you should still save the game beforehand in case you used some of your miracles. Your reward for winning are the Axe Sword and Wing, and the sword does not seem like much, but it has an interesting ability which can one-shot enemies or apply any other status impairment. Now the Wing on the other hand is the real deal, increasing all of your stats to 999 except Guts, making the character who wears it a real killing machine. So of course you would like to have these items as early as possible, right? And to tell you the truth, I already had them when I legitimately defeated the dragon, although I did not use them during the fight. Now don't ask me why, but because the boss has the maximum amount of hit points in this game, increasing them by healing the boss somehow resets its health counter to 1, and you can use this exploit to defeat him during the first round. Just have Sealant and or Artia use a regular potion or any low ass heal spell and have Maxim and Guy attack him. If one heal and one attack gets through, the dragon instantly dies. The only thing you have to make sure is that you first heal the dragon, resetting its hit point to 1 plus the amount of healing, and then attacking and killing him. You will get the items in addition to 60,000 experience and gold, and given the fact that you can repeat to challenge the dragon, this might as well be the fastest way to earn experience and gold in this game. Given that you need to go through the trouble of finding the eggs 4 times of course. Now there's one additional optional boss left in this game, but the way to him might be equally troublesome than getting to the Egg Dragon. People who played this game know what I'm talking about, so if you're interested, subscribe to my channel and like the video to let me know you enjoy this kind of content. Thank you all for watching and I will see you in the next one. Later.